my friends, Michael, Jessica, at Jesus Image. I'm so sad and sorry I couldn't be there this year. I actually had a life-threatening blood clot and was held up by the doctors in Argentina for 2 weeks because it was such a dangerous clot. And there in those 2 weeks, I spent time with Claudio Friesen, and it was amazing time with him. Talked about the Argentina revival and how he fasted 40 days because he was so hungry for the presence, and it just rocked my world. And I came back kind of physically and spiritually desperate, and I felt the Lord speak to me very strongly. Lou, I don't want you to travel and do ministry for the next 4 months. I want you just to seek my face and my presence. And I said, God, I got Michael Culianos, I got Jesus Image, I've got the Send in Brazil. And I felt like the Lord said, Lou, ministry is not your main priority. I want you to seek my face. And so I called Michael. He was so gracious. He says, I so understand. And I just want to say, I just feel this year is a year to seek the presence of the Lord. I was really struck by Claudio Friesen. He told me, he talked about the 10 lepers and how those 10 lepers were all healed, and they went away from Jesus, and only one returned to seek his presence. And he said these words, and it just struck me. And it said, and he said this. He said, power is received for free, but to seek his presence costs everything. To get the presence, you have to seek the presence. You can receive power for free, but you have to seek the presence. And that was the word that struck me, Lou. In these days, in 2020, the dawning of a new era, I want you to seek my face. I'm actually believing for the third great awakening. I believe we're already in it in many ways. But this is a very significant season. It was 20 years ago right now, January. 20 years ago. It was 7 months before the call DC, where 400,000 gathered to fast and pray. It was the epic year of my life. It was right now in January where my son Jesse, 13 years old, fasted on juice for 40 days. Said, Dad, I just want to run with you to pray for revival. This was the season of the deep preparation that launched the call, and my whole life was changed. I feel, in fact, in the early days, before it was named the call, when we were mobilizing it, we called it the dawning, from that scripture in Psalm 110. Your people will volunteer freely in the day of power. From the womb of the dawn, in the beauty of holiness, thy youth shall gather to thee as the dew. That was our dream, that the youth would gather like the dawn, like the dew. The Satan's greatest nightmare is in the darkest hour when the sun begins to rise. The dew has spread, an army is gathered overnight. A massive army. And that's what happened with the call. It was called the dawning. Well, I feel we're in the dawning of a new decade, a new era, and that Jesus Image is the opener of the womb. I believe it's an awakening year. I'm calling it an awe-awakening. We need to awaken to the awe of God's presence, the awe of God's possibilities, the awe of revival, the awe of his presence. And so when I'm not with you today, I want you to know that over these days I will be praying for you. You said, well, you didn't come for Lou Engle anyway. You didn't come for a speaker. In fact, the call was actually born when two speakers of our first conference called Rock the Nations, 1994, they called us the day before, and they said, the Lord has forbid us to come. We didn't understand it, but we found out the Lord moved with such presence. Kids were being slain in the spirit, power and love was being manifested. And the Lord was saying, Lou, it's never about speakers. It's about when I come to a people who are hungry for my presence. I want to just say, receive, go after the presence at Jesus Image. Open the womb of the dawn. Volunteer freely. Give your life to Jesus this year, and let's dare to believe in the darkest hour of America, God will break out with great light, great miracles. I love you. I love you guys. I love Michael. Michael, you are so dear to me. Jessica, you treated me like a king, my wife like a queen. We love you, and go for it. And may God's presence fill you at this Jesus conference. Open the womb for a new day of awakening. Love you.